Hi everyone, welcome to the Lather Hog channel. My name is John, and if this is your first time here, I want to welcome you. And if you're a returning subscriber, I just want to say welcome back. Today's shave will be a little bit different. We're going to do half the face with A&D's new Kaizen, and this is a tester. And we'll be comparing that against also a fairly new release, Asian Pear from A&D. Kaizen hasn't been released yet, and I know already that Peter Trakalis, the owner of A&D, is already tweaking the scent here based on the feedback of his testers. For example, a few folks, including myself, found it to be a little too sweet, so he's dialing that back, changing the proportions of the notes, but I don't think any actual notes are being removed. But the soap base in Asian Pear wasn't a big departure from the original formula. It was a slight tweak in formulation versus Kaizen has new ingredients, some old ingredients taken out. We won't get into the nitty-gritty of that, but I just did want to do a side-by-side comparison. All right, so the other gear we're going to use for the shave, for Asian Pear, you'll see me lathering it up with this brush from West Coast Shaving. And for Kaizen, I'll be using this brush from Wild West Brushworks called Snowdrift, also with a synthetic knot. Both knots perform very similarly. They have a great balance of backbone, a little bit of springiness, kind of what I look for in synthetic knots. Now for my razor, I'll be going with my old standby of the Carve Christopher Bradley. This is using the C-plate, and for the blade, I have loaded a brand new Wizamet Super Iridium, thanks to my buddy Gerard, who sent these over for me. All right, so we're gonna wet my face, and we'll go with Asian Pear first, and I'll shave my right side with that. Now, as far as preparation, the main thing I do is just coming off a shower. If not, just warming the face with a wet towel. Needs to be loading here. We'll go for about a 30-second load. But in the meantime, some housekeeping items. I do want to thank everyone that I tagged in the 5 shave soaps for spring. All 3 folks have uploaded their videos, and that includes my buddy Ross and DK, as well as IMCDB. So be sure to check out their videos, I'll link below. Here's the brush with 30-second load. The other thing I wanted to mention was the April giveaway. I want to thank everyone who entered for a chance to win some software. I'm glad that both of the winners have claimed it, and claimed it pretty quickly after I posted the video. And at the time of this recording, we are very close to 500 subscribers. And once we hit that number, we'll do another giveaway. Now, Asian Pear is a scent that I really enjoy, and it actually surpassed Asian Plum for being my favorite scent offered by A&D right now. You can see here with a 30-second load, granted we're only doing half the face, it's still very pasty. It can take a good amount of water. The scent is very strong, both off the tub and in lathering. I would say it's about probably like a 7 out of 10. All right, we got a nice sheen going on here, so let's even this out. So for my face, I also want to show you just the lather. Still plenty of lather in here. Also just want to admire how ridiculous I look with half my face lathered. So here we go with the Carve. Funny thing about the Wizamet, which I believe are discontinued blades, but I long believed that they were more or less the same as Polsilver Super Iridiums, which are, the Polsilvers are one of my favorite blades. But honestly, I don't know if I'm adept enough to know if this feels exactly like a Polsilver. But it feels very, very familiar. So if they're not, the same exact thing, same exact blade from the same factory, just with different names, it is very close. All right, so one side down, quick thoughts. This is a very slick soap in my experience. This is the Asian Pear again, and there is plenty of residual slickness. Those are factors though that Peter is hoping to improve on. So this is already pretty high, high performing in that level. One thing that will be harder to test for, at least within the confines of the video, is post-shave, which is another thing that I know that Peter's trying to improve here. One factor that not a lot of folks talk about is the ease of lather, and a lot of the great soaps nowadays are a little trickier to lather. They're not newbie friendly. So ease of latherability in this older soap base is pretty straightforward. I would say it's a medium thirsty soap. It can take a good amount of water. I would try really hard not to underhydrate that one because I think it'll become kind of dry very fast. So now on the left side of my face, I'm going to lather the Kaizen base, and we'll do a with the grain pass on that side. So here's a Kaizen tub. Very strong off the tub, the scent. Very sweet as well, as I mentioned before. It's almost candy-like, I guess, because there's a lot of different citruses in here. There's some florals, sandalwood. It's a lot of notes. Peter tends to go with more complex scents that are cologne-like, and that a lot of notes to give you some complexity. Honestly, there's folks who would love it, both in the scent strength and this level of sweetness. But personally, I'm glad to hear that he'll be dialing it back a little bit. Again, this is a tester, so there may be changes by the time he announces the final product. But from what I understand, the soap base itself isn't going to change too much. So you can see here the load. And just get a little more water on my face here. So you can kind of see, maybe, let me turn my face a little bit more. When this goes on thick, it's a little bit clumpier. The Asian Pear base, when it goes on thick, I mean, it's pasty, but not clumpy, if that makes any sense. It won't matter once I add water to this. It's kind of funny to see how the different bases, even right from the start, will look different. And that's probably something I wouldn't have noticed exactly if I hadn't done a side-by-side comparison. You can see here I've added a good amount of water, and this is a thirsty soap. Obviously maybe it's a hair thirstier than the other base, but nothing ridiculous. Maybe the biggest surprise is if you go for a heavy load in the brush, just how the appearance of the lather in the beginning looks. But at least from my mirror, I'm getting a very nice shine here. Both are low volume lathers. They're not, Santa Beard, super voluminous lathers. And this is my preference. Something that's creamy, kind of like yogurt-like. All right, I think we'll go with that. Before I shave, let me just give you a closer look. Nice and dense. Plenty of lather still in the brush. Well, the razor is just gliding along very easily. One way to find out if your lather could use more water is upon rinsing the razor, if you find that, especially in some of these really nice artisan soaps, all the various butters and fats that go in here that primarily help with the post shave. But if that lather isn't rinsing off easily from your razor, it probably means you could use more water. You haven't quite unlocked, the full potential of that lather if you're finding that you're rinsing, it's really just kind of clogged up in there. So Kaizen isn't clogging up my razor, that being said, but it does take a little more water to kind of get it fully clean before I go back into the next pass. Now, as far as the sweetness goes, it does mellow out also upon lathering. Scent strength, I would say, is probably similar to Asian Pear, 7, maybe even 8 out of 10. But that could be me perceiving the sweetness as stronger as opposed to just a note that's kind of in my face. All right, we're going to go back to the right side of the face. Again, you can see here with the West Coast shaving brush. This is with the Asian Pear. Now, I've done some testing before with kind of pre-releases. And for soap, soap formulations and whatnot. And I know I'm always trying to improve how I can give feedback. But there's so many variables that you can see that I did, synthetic knots for both soaps. But I was thinking even in how to do this video, if you could do some sort of double blind test where I have to lather the soap without knowing which one it is, shave with it, and then kind of give my notes on that, and then reveal to myself afterwards which soap is which. I think that'd be really telling, because right now, obviously, I know which side has which soap, and certain biases in your head, you'll be like, of course, the new one's better. So I'm gonna tell you, slickness is better compared to the old one, and other stuff like that. I think even the logistics of how to pull that off is a little tricky. So you do what you can with the time that you have. And so I thought this half and half shave can offer some interesting data. I'd be interested to know too, guys, for the folks watching at home, just based on the appearance of the lather, or just any observations, by the end of the video, if you can tell one lather looks better to you, if you can tell just by the video how it performs, it'd be great to know what you guys pick up on at home. So let me know in the comments if by the end there was a clear winner or they both look good. And even my own final conclusions, how they might differ from yours. You can imagine my bathroom is a big old mess. I don't have a lot of surface area in here, and now I have 2 brushes, 2 tubs of soap, and lather in general is flying everywhere, lathering 2 different, really nice soaps. That being said, we go with Against the Grain. I may have forgot to mention this, but I'm working with 1 day's growth. All right, so no issues there. We're done with the Against the Grain pass with Asian Pear. Now to go back on the left side with Kaizen. Here again is the lather with Kaizen. Yeah, I mean, I would say the slickness has definitely improved from the previous base here in Kaizen. Just something about the razor feel. I want to say it has an easier time cutting the hairs, or at the very least moving across my skin. All right, so let's see here. I think the slickness definitely goes to Kaizen. I would say it might take a little bit more work. If you were to do the same load of both Kaizen and the previous A&E base, you might just put a little bit more work, but it's not extremely thirsty, but it is thirstier than the previous base. And residual slickness, there's more of it in the Kaizen base. If you had to do some touch-ups, some stray hairs or something, I know over here I got checked for at least some stray hairs I might have missed. You have enough slickness on your face with Kaizen to go. More, like there's slickness here too, as far as residual, but much more on my left side. But both feel great. They're not drying soaps. I probably just look ridiculous touching my face. They're clean though, as we've just been handling a bunch of lather and soap. So if you were to ask me, is Kaizen an improvement on the previous soap base from A&D? I would say yes. Is it a drastic improvement? I'm not so sure because I really liked the previous iteration, but I will say that this soap, it can hang with the other top tier soap bases, at least the ones I've used, Holy Cow, Sierra, I previously mentioned Zingari Man, Seago, Milksteak by Declaration Grooming. Yeah, this can definitely hang with those soap bases as well. All right, so that's it for the shave. I do want to thank you guys for joining me in this experiment to compare A&D Kaizen, the tester, which is forthcoming, and A&D Asian Pear, which features their previous base. If you can just tell by the lather I got and from the shave I got from each lather, that one was better, let me know in the comments. If you have any observations or opinions just based on my shave right now, especially if you thought that one looked distinctly better than the other, let me know in the comments below. I think the Kaizen release is something to look forward to, so I do want to thank Peter for giving me the chance to get a preview, to be one of his testers, to provide him feedback. I want to thank you guys for your time and for tuning in to today's video. If you found it helpful and you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button. If you're not a subscriber and want to help support the channel, please hit that subscribe button so that you won't miss the next video. I hope you guys are safe and healthy, and I'll catch you next video. Take care.